بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين جل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our studies of Imamah. In last session we talked about significance of Imamah, the literal meaning of Imamah, technical meaning of Imamah. And now we want to continue with chapter 2 of the book, and that is about the authority that Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam have in presenting Islam. Because Imamah has different aspects. One is Imamah as comprehensive leadership in religious and worldly affairs, ra'asatul ammah fi umur ad-din wa ad-dunya. A person that in religious affairs and worldly affairs would be leading Muslim Ummah after the Prophet. This is something that we will talk about it later. But one aspect of Imamah which can be applicable to us even today is their role in presenting Islam, their role in teaching Islam. Even if we are not agreeing on who was supposed to take over after the Prophet, even if we don't agree about whether the Prophet had announced his successor or not, we can agree on this simple fact that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in very different ways on different occasions has also mentioned that after him we should refer to Ahlul Bayt, or has mentioned qualities for Ahlul Bayt that make them perfect candidates for teaching the Ummah. This issue is the most important issue. You can be Sunni or Shia, that's between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But whether you are Sunni or Shia, you should refer to Ahlul Bayt for understanding your aqaid, your akhlaq, your fiqh. This is a very important issue. So therefore, before we go to discussions about Imamah, we wanted to discuss the issue of the authority of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And here, we are not limiting it to Imams, it would also include Lady Fatima Salamullah alayha, because she was also the one who had this position of being a member of Ahlul Bayt with that high caliber. In order to explain who are Ahlul Bayt and what authority they have, we refer to some verses of the Quran and some hadith. But as we said before, when it comes to hadith, we try to refer to Sunni sources, not only Shia sources, so that our non-Shia brothers and sisters also can easily accept, inshallah. As you know, we have in Surah Al-Ahzab which is chapter 33, in the verse 33. So 33, which means 12. In this verse, we have Ayatul Tathir. You know, normally verses of the Quran have no name. Surah chapters have name, but it's not that every verse has name. But some verses are so important that they have been given name. Like Ayatul Tathir, it has name. So, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. There are lots of things to discuss about this ayah, but we want to just focus on the particular issue that I mentioned. If you look at page 23, there is a hadith that we find it in Musnad of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. He says, "An Anas ibn Malik, anna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam kana yamurru bi bab Fatimah sittata ashhur." For 6 months, Rasulullah used to pass by the door of Lady Fatima, because Lady Fatima and Imam Ali had their door opened to the mosque. Because many people had this, but Rasulullah was asked to close all the doors except the door of his home and Imam Ali and Lady Fatima. فَصَدَّ الْأَبْوَابَ إِلَّا بَابَهُ. He blocked all the doors. Said, if you want, you go from outside and come from the main entrance. You cannot have your door right to the mosque. Anyway, Rasulullah, when this ayah was revealed, for 6 months, كان يمر بباب فاطمة 6 أشهر إذا خرج إلى صلاة الفجر. When he was going for Salatul Fajr, he used to pass by the house of Lady Fatima and say, "As-salat ya ahl al-bayt, innama yuridullahu liyudhhiba ankum ar-rijsa ahl al-bayt wa yutahhirakum tathira." Why Rasulullah for 6 months was doing this? Not once, not twice, not 3 times. I think it's very obvious that he wanted to establish in the minds of people that this ayah is related to people in this house. Not every relative of the Prophet, as some people think that all the relatives of Prophet are Ahlul Bayt. The maximum, they say, except people who were kafir. For example, Abu Lahab is not included. But anyone who was Muslim is Ahlul Bayt. We say, first of all, this doesn't match the ayah. Can you say all relatives of the Prophet, all the uncles and cousins and aunts and everyone has reached that level of piety that Allah says He has purified them as thorough purification? No. But also Prophet himself has applied this. He has applied to particular people. For 6 months, Medina was not a big city. And it was enough to announce 2 times, 3 times so that everyone would understand. But for 6 months, he does this so that not people of that time understand, people of all ages understand that these are Ahlul Bayt. So this is Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. It's not a Shia scholar. He's Imam of Hanbali Muslims. There is another narration, and Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal narrates that from Ibn Abbas, that أخذ رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم ثوبه فوضعه على علي وفاطمة وحسن وحسين فقال إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. You have the reference also there. So Rasulullah took his cloak and covered Lady Fatima, Imam Ali, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein with his cloak and recited this ayah. It means that these are Ahlul Bayt. These are the people that this ayah belongs to them. Muslim narrates from Aisha that خرج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, because they don't mention وآله, غداة وعليه مرق مرحل من شعر أسود. That Rasulullah one morning went out and he had something from skin of animal, like wool, which was black, from black hair. فجاء الحسن بن علي فأدخله. Imam Hassan alayhi salam came, Rasulullah let him enter under this cloak. ثم جاء الحسين فدخل معه. Imam Hussein also came and went inside under this. ثم جاءت فاطمة فأدخلها. Rasulullah let Lady Fatima come also under this. ثم جاء علي فأدخله. Then Imam Ali came and he brought Imam Ali under this. ثم قال إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. So this is in Sahih Muslim, which is one of the Sahih Sitta. It's very important. And among Sahih Sitta, Sahih Muslim and Sahih Bukhari are the most important. In Sunan by Tirmizi, which is another Sahih, they have an Umar ibn Abi Salama. Lady Salama had a son from previous marriage, and he narrates this. قال لما نزلت هذه الآية على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا في بيت سلمة, in the house of his mother. فدعا فاطمة وحسنا وحسينا فجللهم بكساء. Rasulullah called Lady Fatima, Imam Hassan and Hussein, and covered them with cloth. وَعَلِيٌّ خَلْفَ ظَهْرِهِ. And Imam Ali was behind the Prophet. فَجَلَّلَهُ بِكِسَاء, also covered him. ثُمَّ قَالَ اللَّهُمَّ هَؤُلَاءِ أَهْلُ بَيْتِي فَأَذْهِبْ عَنْهُمُ الرِّجْسَ وَطَهِّرْهُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. So Rasulullah applied this to them and also prayed to God. Lady Salama, who was very pious, very good lady, and was in her home, and she is the wife of the Prophet. So she asked, قالت سلمة وأنا معهم يا نبي الله. O Prophet of God, am I also with them? So Am I included under the title of Ahlul Bayt? قال أنت على مكانك وأنت على خير. You have your own position. You are good. Didn't say you are one of Ahlul Bayt. You are good. You are not bad. But this is a special position. You are not included. We have more discussions about this ayah, but maybe in future we can discuss more. So this shows that among all Muslims, there were few people that Rasulullah had also identified clearly that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has affirmed, has verified their maximum purity, to the extent that nothing impure would reach them, would come out of them or, affect them. But this is not arbitrarily. This is because they did their best for purity, and then Allah completed the process, as we talked before in lectures about akhlaq. Also, we have Ayatul Mawadda. There are a few verses actually that refer to the love for Ahlul Bayt as a kind of return or payment for the great service of the Prophet. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ذلك الذي يبشر الله عباده الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات قل لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى ومن يقترف حسنة نزد له فيها حسنا إن الله غفور شكور. This is verse 23 of chapter 42. The focus is on this sentence. Say, لا أسألكم عليه أجرا. I don't ask you for any reward, any payment, any return for this risala, for this mission, except love for qurba, for the people who are qurba. We will talk about what is qurba. When you read the Quran, you will find that actually this was a common saying of the prophets, that we don't ask you any ajr. This is not only said by our prophet. You find, for example, in Surah Shu'ara, many prophets said this. We don't ask you for ajr. Prophets were volunteers. They were not paid for their job. But it's only about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we have this addition. They all said we don't want ajr. Prophet also said I don't want ajr. But with respect to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah says, you also say this. لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى. No prophet was asked to say this. Read the Quran and find if you find any prophet was asked by God to say this. Many say لا أسألكم عليه أجرا, but the only one who says إلا المودة في القربى is the prophet. Then Allah Himself also says to the Prophet in chapter 34, verse 47, قُلْ مَا سَأَلْتُكُم مِّنْ أَجْرٍ فَهُوَ لَكُمْ. So still it is true that I don't want anything from you. And even this mawadda fil qurba that I asked you is for your own sake. In ajriya illa ala Allah. My reward is only upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is not contradicting what the Prophet and others said that we don't want ajr. So now you have to find an explanation that can clarify why only Prophet said illa mawaddata fil qurba, and why this does not contradict saying I don't want any return. The answer is that Rasulullah was asked to say to people that if you want to show appreciation and gratitude to what I have done for you, you have to do something for yourself. And that is to love al-qurba. It's for yourself. Like, for example, suppose I am a teacher and I work hard with my students. And then when I want to travel, I have appointed assistant teacher. I say, I don't want anything from you, but if you want to show appreciation, listen to the assistant teacher. Love him, respect him, listen to him. But who is going to benefit? Again, the students. Yeah? Whether they listen to the assistant student, the teacher is not going to benefit as such, as a person. Or many times parents say to their children, if you want to do anything for me, try to be a good person. Try to study well, behave well. But indeed this goes to themselves, the benefit goes to themselves. Maybe you are even not there when they grow up. They want them to grow up in a good way. But because you have maximum concern and love for them, you try to use your relation with them as an extra reason to motivate them to do something good for themselves. If you want to somehow pay back all the things that I have done for you, try to do something good for yourself. Again goes back to the child. Because he feels in debt to me and sees that this is selfless request, then he will be encouraged to take it more seriously. Then ayah 57 of chapter 25 makes it very clear. قُلْ مَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ إِلَّا مَنْ شَاءَ أَنْ يَتَّخِذَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِ سَبِيلًا. I don't ask any reward, any return, any payment from you except from those who want to take a path to their Lord. So what does this show? This shows that mawadda fil qurba is sabilun ila rabbih. Love for Ahlul Bayt is the path when Rasulullah was himself alive, he was the path. Look at the ayahs 27, 28 of chapter 25, page 27. وَيَوْمَ يَعَضُّ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ يَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي اتَّخَذْتُ مَعَ الرَّسُولِ السَّبِيلًا. The day when the wrongdoers will bite their hands and say, we wish we had followed the apostles' path. So when Rasulullah is there, who shows you the path? Rasulullah. Now, Rasulullah is asked to tell people that if you love me, love Ahlul Bayt, and this is giving you the indication of the path after me. In Dua al-Nudbah, we have these three ayah, and then we say, فَكَانُوا هُمُ السَّبِيلَ إِلَيْكَ وَالْمَسْلَكَ إِلَىٰ رِضْوَانِكَ. They were the path. They were the route. So, now you realize why other prophets didn't say this. Because other prophets were followed by other prophets. But because Rasulullah is the last prophet, so he cannot leave it for next prophet to come and fill the gap. Allah says that because you are the last prophet, now you have to tell them what should they do after you. So Sabil after the prophet is indicated by Ahlul Bayt. So we humbly say to our Sunni brothers, and you must know that most of them, if not all, most of them love Ahlul Bayt. Actually, today I don't think there is anyone who is, na'udhu billah, Nasibi or whatever. They love Ahlul Bayt. I personally say maybe some of them love Ahlul Bayt more than me. I don't claim that I love Ahlul Bayt more than some of our Sunni brothers, because they are full of love for Prophet and Ahlul Bayt. We know that. But our humble suggestion is, it's not enough to just love them. This love should generate following. You have to take them as indicators, signs of path. If I love my, for example, alim, my scholar, I love him, I kiss his hand, every day I go and see him, but I don't follow him. What's the benefit? If I love my parents, but I don't listen to them, and I listen to their, for example, people who travel, makes trouble for them, for example, or people who compete them, it's not enough. So, the same thing we say to the Shia. Also, we say to the Shia, it's not just enough that you theoretically say we follow Ahlul Bayt. You have to practically follow Ahlul Bayt. So Shia have maybe gone one step further. They say we follow Ahlul Bayt, but to say it's not enough. So I say this is a good competition in Ummah. Let's forget who is Sunni Shia. Let's see who can follow Ahlul Bayt better. This is a competition. It's not a matter of names or claims. So, this ayah, which is not only one ayah, there are three ayahs, they show that we have to love Ahlul Bayt as a way, as a path towards Rabbihi. Man sha'a an yattakhidha ila rabbihi. If we want to have a path towards our Lord. And al-qurba, according to hadith that inshallah we will explain later in the book, and if you don't get a chance, you can read in the book, is interpreted by Sunni and Shia as family of the Prophet. There are some people who say Urba means your own kinship, your own relatives. But this doesn't make sense. That how can you say loving your relatives is the path toward your Lord? It doesn't make sense. Plus, we have from Sunni and Shia sources that it is applied to Ahlul Bayt. Another thing that we have here is hadith of Zayd ibn Arqa, one of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. According to Sahih Muslim, we have this story that Yazid ibn Hayyan says, me with two other people, we went to Zayd ibn Arqam. When we sat with him, one of us was called Hussein, with Sad, not with Sin. Said, Ya Zayd, لَقَدْ لَقِيتَ يَا زَيْدْ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. In your life you were blessed with many good things. رَأَيْتَ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ وَسَمِعْتَ حَدِيثَهُ وَقَزَوْتَ مَعَهُ وَصَلَّيْتَ خَلْفَهُ. You saw the Prophet, you heard his hadith, you had participated in Qazawat with Rasulullah, in fights with Rasulullah, you said your prayer behind Rasulullah. So, حدثنا يا زيد ما سمعت من رسول الله. Tell us some hadith that you have heard yourself from Messenger of God. Zayd said, يَبْنَ أَخِي وَاللَّهِ لَقَدْ كَبُرَتْ سِنِّي وَقَدْمَ عَهْدِي وَنَسِيتُ بَعْضَ الَّذِي كُنْتُ أَعِي مِنْ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. He said, I have become very old and I have forgotten some of the things that I have heard from Rasulullah. فَمَا حَدَّثْتُكُمْ فَاقْبَلُوا وَمَا لَا فَلَا تُكَلِّفُونِي. So I have become very old, I have forgotten some things. So whatever I tell you, accept it, and if I don't say anything, don't pressurize me. Okay, so this was what he said, this is a condition he made. Then he said, قام رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم يوما فينا خطيبا. One day Rasulullah stood up and started giving a sermon among us. بماء يدعى خما بين مكة والمدينة. Next to a water which was called Khum, Adir Khum, between Mecca and Medina, in Juhfa, between Mecca and Medina. فَحَمِدَ اللَّهَ وَأَثْنَى عَلَيْهِ وَوَعَذَ وَذَكَّرَ. He praised Allah, he preached, he reminded us. ثُمَّ قَالَ أَمَّا بَعْدْ أَلَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ فَإِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ. Oh people, I am a human being. يُوشَكُ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ رَسُولُ رَبِّي فَأُجِبْ. It's near that the messenger of my Lord comes and calls me for departure, and I would answer. وَأَنَا تَارِكٌ فِيكُمْ ثَقَلَيْنِ. I am leaving among you two precious, two weighty things. أَوَّلُهُمَا كِتَابُ اللَّهِ فِيهِ الْهُدَى وَالنُّورِ فَخُذُوا بِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ وَاسْتَمْسِكُوا بِهِ. The first of these two is the book of Allah, in which there is guidance and light. Grasp and hold on to it. فَحَثَّ عَلَى كِتَابِ اللَّهِ وَرَقَّبَ فِيهِ. Then he encouraged us to follow the Quran ثم قال وأهل بيتي. Then he said, the second is my household. أذكركم الله في أهل بيتي. I ask you to remember God with respect to my Ahlul Bayt. Means remember God in the way you treat them. Be mindful of God with respect to Ahlul Bayt. This sentence shows that Rasulullah was expecting that some people would not be showing enough respect. Especially, he repeated this 3 times. أذكركم الله في أهل بيتي. أذكركم الله في أهل بيتي. Then this Hussein says to Zayd ibn Arqam, وَمَنْ أَهْلُ بَيْتِهِ. Who are his Ahlul Bayt? يا زيد أليس نساؤه من أهل بيته. Aren't his wives included in his household? قال نساؤه من أهل بيته ولكن أهل بيته من حرم الصدقة بعده. In a sense, they are relatives, they are family of the Prophet, but real Ahlul Bayt are those who are not receiving sadaqah after those that sadaqah is haram for them after the Prophet. قال ومن هم. Said, who are they? قال هم آل علي وآل عقيل وآل جعفر وآل عباس. So Zayd Agam knew that Ahlul Bayt does not include marry those who are related to Prophet through marriage. But he thought all the people who are related to Prophet through blood, they would be included. Although these are Sayyid and they have some special ruling, for example, they cannot receive sadaqah or whatever, but this is not the ayah. So he had some understanding, but not a complete picture. Okay? So this is when it comes to application of Ahlul Bayt. But about the position of Ahlul Bayt, and they are part of Thaqalain, this is very clear. There is another narration in which, when he was asked about wives of the Prophet, he said they are not included. And the reason he brought, it's on page 31. He said, إن المرأة تكون مع الرجل العصر من الدهر ثم يطلقها فترجع إلى أبيها وقومها. He says, wives of the Prophet are not included in Ahlul Bayt because wife lives with someone, but his family are her own family. And then, for example, there is divorce, she goes back to her own family. So wives of the Prophet are not Ahlul Bayt because they have their own family. أهل بيته أصله وعصبته الذين حرموا الصدقة بعده. Ahlul Bayt of the Prophet are the people that are his own family or his own kind of tribe or his own, blood family that are not receiving sadaqah after the Prophet. So he had some understanding, as I said, but not complete. But it is good that at least he understood this much, that we cannot include people who are related through marriage to the Prophet. Then we have another hadith, and this hadith is also interesting, that you find the translation on page 31 and 32, but the Arab, I read for you also the Arabic. This is about Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, father of Umar Sa'd. Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas was a companion of the Prophet. He was a commander, and he was involved later in conquering Iran. So Amara Muawiyatu ibn Abi Sufyan Sa'dan. Muawiyah, as you know, had made a very, very vicious practice, and that is to do sab of Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam. But Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas refused. So Muawiyah said, "Ma mana'aka an tasubba Aba Turab?" What has stopped you swearing at Abu Turab? That's the title for Amir al-Mu'minin. He said, "I remember 3 things that Rasulullah said about Ali. And because I remember those 3 things, falan asubbahu, I will never insult him, swear at him. لَإِن تَكُونَ لِي وَاحِدَةٌ مِّنْهُنَّ أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ مِنْ حُمْرِ النَّعَمِ. If I have one of them, or if I had one of them, was better for me than red camels." Red camel was the most expensive camel. It was like Mercedes, سَمِعْتُ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ يَقُولُ لَهُ. He says, I heard the Prophet saying for Ali, خَلَّفَهُ فِي بَعْضِ مَغَاضِيهِ, when he left Ali behind in one of the battles. You know the story that Rasulullah asked Imam Ali to be in city, in Medina, to look after people who remain in the city. And then Imam Ali said, Ya Rasulallah, خَلَّفْتَنِي مَعَ النِّسَاءِ وَالسَّبْيَانِ. Have you left me with women and children? Because he was always trying to be with the Prophet and be a soldier for the Prophet, protect Prophet and Islam. فقال له رسول الله أما ترضى أن تكون مني بمنزلة هارون من موسى إلا أنه لا نبوة بعدي. According to this version, somebody said لا نبي بعدي. Aren't you happy to be for me like Harun was for Musa? Because Harun was very close to Musa, and even as you know, Musa said, اجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي أشركه في أمري. He was a sharik, he was a partner in the mission. And when Musa went to receive the tablets, he said, "Ukhlufni, be my successor in my..." So, aren't you happy to have the same position, except that there is no prophet, because Harun was prophet. After me there is no prophet. So you are not prophet, but you have any other position that Harun had with Musa. This is one thing that Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas says, I remember that Rasulullah said, and this would not let me swear at Ali. Another thing, I heard Rasulullah saying, Yawma Khaybar, the day of Khaybar, لَأُعْطِيَنَّ الرَّايَةَ رَجُلًا يُحِبُّ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَيُحِبُّهُ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ. I am going to give the flag to a man that Rasulullah and God love him and he loves God and Rasulullah. قال فتطاولنا لها. We all were looking for being given the flag. Because everyone was hoping that if the flag is given to me, I am that person. فقال ادعوا لي عليا. But Rasulullah didn't call anyone who was present. He called Ali who was absent. And actually Imam Ali had problem in his eyes. He had pain in his eyes. Anyway, Rasulullah called him and gave him the flag. فَفَتَحَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. Then Allah gave victory under the leadership of Imam Ali, command of Imam Ali. وَلَمَّا نَزَلَتْ هَذِهِ الْآيَةِ. And the third thing is فَقُلْ تَعَالَوْا نَدْعُ أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ دعا رسول الله عليا وفاطمة وحسنا وحسينا فقال اللهم هؤلاء أهلي. Oh Allah, these are my people. So, although our Sunni brothers may have different opinions when it comes to Ahlul Bayt, and for example Zayd ibn Arqam has that idea, but what Hadith says, not what companions may say, what Hadith say, even from Sunni sources, is you find Rasulullah always applying Ahl to these four people: Ali and Fatima and Hassan and Hussein. Especially, I believe, even if we didn't have so many hadiths like this, just to consider who can be thought is totally purified. If you ask any scholar, any relative of the Prophet other than these four, you can claim that he was pure 100%? No. They don't have any candidate. Even maybe they have questioned, some of them, about these people being infallible. But at least we say, if there is, this is a very subtle point, please be careful, it's my last point. This is a very subtle point. We say these hadiths, this ayatul tathir, these hadiths of Thaqalain, shows that there were some people that were purified completely by God. They are put next to Quran. Their love shows the path. Do you have any candidates? Because there must be some people to whom these ayat refer, these hadiths referred. Okay? Someone that we can, without any hesitation, to follow. Do you have any candidates? We ask people to give their candidates. Apart from Shia, no one has candidates. Either it refers to these four, or there is no one that you can say was purified. So you can, it's amazing. You don't find any person for whom this level of purity and this level of freedom from sins and mistakes has been claimed. So either you have to say we don't have any person like this, or you have to say these four people. And especially when Rasulullah so much is applying to them. So I think anyone with just fair study of these hadiths would come to this conclusion. that we have to have a special relation with these people. We love all believers in God. We love pious companions of the Prophet. But with these few, we have a special relation. Because Allah is telling us, these are the people that you should love them. These are the people that He has purified them. And Rasulullah says that I am living among you, these two, waiting Quran and Ahlul Bayt. Inshallah, we continue this discussion. Inshallah, next week. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.